Hey guys, so I just came back from a couple different job interviews and stuff. I think it all went well, but honestly, I just kind of wanted to update you guys a little bit. Farlook Studios is really just a one-man project. Other than the buddies that are helping me work on the video games and stuff, it really is just me kind of creating and making this kind of dream come true. It is a book and a series, and it is a company really that is based on good entertainment. So I want to make things that matter to people. I want to make things that are captivating and that are timeless, And I'm a little bit more presentable than the first other vlogs, but I am definitely still the same person, the same ambition, and the same determination, right? Right now, I'm currently working on Tales from the Garden, and it's a series which works more or less like an anthology, and I'm able to tell many different stories or multiple short stories into one kind of book, into one narrative. It is technically the first spin-off title of the comics because Junket is already a 4-issue series. There's going to be more Junket issues coming out shortly, but the Tales from the Garden is just one where I'm able to just throw ideas into the books, and I just design new characters, new things, and I really want to make the entire experience feel a little bit more fleshed out. So in terms of Tales from the Garden, I've shown a little bit of the process. I've shown a little bit of the sketches and the before and afters. I wanted to show you guys the actual covers, and I wanted to show you guys the actual completed interior pencils. So I have the entire thing. It's roughly 72 pages of comics, and it's compiling some of the newspaper work that I've done, and it's compiling some of the other things that I've done as well. So it's brand new material, it's previously printed material, and it's brand new newsprint paper, never before seen material. A lot of unused concepts and stuff. So hopefully, you guys are able to see the entire idea now, that it's more of a concrete thing. It's not just a notion. It's more of an exact concept. It's more of a traditional kind of comic. And it's one compact story, one cohesive narrative within one book. But within it are multiple short stories, multiple random, characters and moments and things that are just to really make that world feel broadened, right? To kind of broaden the horizons and feel like a cohesive universe, like a massive kind of world. As I stated previously, I've been inspired by the Walt Disney Company. I've been inspired by all of the early animations. I've been reading his book. I've been reading the Walt Disney biography by Neil Gabler. It's a pretty hefty tome, I might say, but it's really just amazing. Like reading some of this stuff, I'm able to almost imagine myself as a young kid in college starting out and all this stuff, all the odd jobs that he works. I'm able to kind of like resonate with that, and I'm able to almost see myself in there. He used to go to the Art Institute of Kansas, and I went to the Art Institute of Miami. So it's kind of interesting the way that he presents the information of young Walt Disney's life. It's really fascinating, seeing his first business card and stuff. It's kind of insightful, and I wanted to capture that early startup energy. I just imagine these videos are so random, right? Because it's just me and just talking about all the concepts and all the books that I have in process and all the ideas that I have, and it's not even really it's not a concrete idea yet. It's still not something that I've found a whole lot of success in yet, but it is something that I'm proud of and that I have built over time. I wanted to show you guys some of the almost like an annual recap of all the things I've done this year. I've gone to my first comic convention. I've done my first, book signings, library events, all of that. So I've literally done a handful to begin with, and it all started literally back to back from this year. I had no previous experience in any of that stuff, but I did notice that the spark ignited in me when, as an art assignment, we were tasked to make a comic or make any project we wanted, and I made a comic. And it's actually The Last Crusader, which is reprinted in my Halloween comic. So if you guys don't know, You can get it right now on Amazon. So the original comic I made was just a short 20-page issue. I printed it through a local company and stuff like that. Nothing crazy. It wasn't on Amazon originally, and it really was just something I was throwing together, just some concepts and ideas. And it's just a black and white comic with only one color, and it's red. So it's just black, white, and red. I thought it was kind of cool, kind of interesting. It fit the tone, and originally I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do with it or what it meant, or I knew it wasn't a series. I knew it wasn't anything super impactful, but it was the first comic I really did from start to finish. And when I presented it in my studio class, it was really amazing to see everyone kind of support it and be really proud of it. And after I was finished presenting, because I did big poster size stuff like this, so I was teaching myself how to use the printers and everything. I was the only kid who stayed back after class and tried to really learn how to teach myself how to use these big Xerox printers and all these massive equipment that I've never used before. How to change the ink cartridges and stuff. Eventually I did end up working at the university, which was great. It was a great learning curve. I was basically in the library, and I was also in the equipment station. So I was working with cameras, I was working with books, and I was helping people with printers and stuff. So it really was the perfect place for me to grow and learn as much as I could, And luckily I was able to present my work, and I was able to present my comic after I learned how to print the posters and stuff similar to these. And I remember the eyes on everyone's faces when I actually was like, oh, and here's the actual comic. As soon as I showed them the physical book in their hands, it was like their mind was blown. And honestly, it impacted me to this day. It's a moment I think about every time, because once all the presentations were over, everyone came over to me and asked me, hey, can you sign it? Can I buy one? And I didn't expect to sell anything at the school. I wasn't expecting to sell my comic nonetheless, but everyone seemed so interested in it that they almost couldn't refuse. It was really fascinating to see that. So that was the only previous experience I had when it came to comic book sales or book sales, art sales, any of that stuff. It was really interesting to realize it just came from a genuine curiosity in an earnest place. And from there I kept making more books, and I tried experimenting with different stories, different characters. I tried doing more stuff, and eventually I made Gunny, which was the second comic I was able to do, which is also out now on Amazon, the compiled version of Gunny. That one's actually a good 55, 60 pages of concept art and everything. So you guys need to check that stuff out. It's all my early work when I had just turned 21, 22 and stuff. Right now I'm not that old. I'm only 23, but currently it's November 18th, I think. So December is coming up quick. When I first made that issue, that original comic, it really sparked my imagination. It really made me think and see that now this is an actual possibility. And I was able to have help from a professor. Yeah, one of my professors called Ed Illustration. You guys could check out his work as well. He does this really cool black and white artwork. It's really awesome. Just a little shout out, because he helped me, to kind of figure out more or less that I was able to even print stuff on Amazon. I didn't know that at the time. So it was cool. I ran with it. He gave me the information I needed, and I just went and learned and experimented myself, because I've always been really determined and ambitious, and whenever I see opportunities, I have to seize them. I think it's important to just not waste any time and just go. I think it's really cool to see how just a small curiosity, a small idea really turned into almost an entire comic career. And it's not even fully begun yet. These are still the initial testing grounds, right? Next year, 2026 is going to be big. I already have a good couple events lined up. I was able to experiment with, I've literally went to more than 15, I think, events the whole past year, because I went to multiple small ones, tiny ones, and multiple months and multiple in the same month. So at least my concept, my idea was to at least go to one convention, at least go to one, and at least from that one, plan one for the next following month, and then the next one, and then the next one. So, God willing, it worked out. And it literally just lined up perfectly back to back. So I went from super tiny ones to bigger ones to even bigger ones. The very, very first kind of book signing I did was actually a local author's book fair. It wasn't even a proper convention. And it was a full circle moment because I had originally gone there because I had originally gone there out of just wanting to see what it was, and I was a local out in downtown, and I was able to go to the big library, and then I was able to meet one of my clients, one of my first book clients. They paid me and hired me to basically illustrate their own comic and turn their kids' book story into a graphic novel format. To a comic format. And I think it's really interesting how it really is a full circle moment, because they randomly reached out to me and told me like, hey, can you edit it and make it accessible for print through Amazon? At the time, I had never done that before. But originally, when he hired me, I had never done that before. But since the time had passed, I made the junket books, and I already had at least 2 of them. So with that experience in mind, I was able to literally just reformat his book for Amazon. And I even included 2 bonus pages in the back so it could fill out the whole book. I think the limit for Amazon, which is free for anyone to publish their work, by the way, highly encourage it. The only thing that costs is the printing. I might actually do a tutorial about how to print your own comics on Amazon. That'll be an interesting concept, interesting video. Comment below if you want that. Make sure to like and subscribe, please. I was able to meet this person, fix their book for them, edit it, publish it through Amazon, and I was even able to, attend this book signing place. Now, I didn't have a table. The person did say they were going to share a table with me, but when I got there, his entire table was basically filled, and I didn't really have any space. Luckily, I swear, luckily God provided a table for me. There was literally no one who was assigned there. There was no one who needed to be there, any of that. I didn't take anyone's spot. There was literally just one table with one chair just waiting there for me. And I had brought all my equipment. Well, I see an opportunity. I seize it right there and then. I jumped at the opportunity. I set the table up. I already had the table runner and the display and everything. And I had the books, and I even had book stands and stuff. So I was like, oh, I'm a pro. I'm ready for this. I was able to meet other illustrators and other authors. They weren't, their tables weren't as nicely presented. And I was like, why wouldn't they have tried to make it seem as best as they could? And I swear on that day, that was the best day I ever had, because I sold so many books. I sold all of my comics that same day, all the junket number 1s and the Halloween issues and the junket Genesis books. People loved it. It was a local author event, and it was amazing because they even put a photo of me, signing books to with a bunch of the young kids that visited and wanted to buy some books. The kids loved the books. The kids really do like junket. It's really, really cool. It just made me so happy, And the library itself, which was, it's an actual Miami-Dade program and event. I was even able to shake hands with the mayor. I had no idea who the hell she was, I just saw this nice old lady. I just shook her hand, and I was like, oh, thank you so much for letting me be here. And I didn't realize that's not the librarian, that's the mayor of Miami. And I thought that was kind of hilarious when I later learned who it was, because the older man, the client I worked with, he was an older gentleman with his wife and his kids and stuff. And he was super timid to even go up to approach this old lady. I'm like, just an old lady, wait, just go, say hello, Anyhow, I shook her hand and I finessed the table. I literally had no clue that I was even, able to do that or not, but it went amazing. I sold out all my books. I signed all of them, you know. Originally, I did undersell them, right? Because I print my books for $5 each. And in order for me to print more, I need at least 5, and then 5 as profit, right? So I sell them as 10 at conventions, because I mean, it's going to be signed and everything. You know, once the animations come out and games and stuff, it's going to go up in price, of course. But the original ones, I just saw it was kids and it was families, so I just sold every book for $5. You know, it was like a 3 for 10 deal. You know, 3 books for 10, like stuff like that. You know, I wouldn't think of doing that now, because it's not feasible. You know, you can't do that long term. But I think it was just really nice to do that from the heart. You know, give these kids the things that they want, the things that they need to learn and to grow and to feel motivated and inspired. I remember they would see the cartoons and they would look at it and be like, "Whoa, did you draw all that? Wow." I remember there was this one kid at a small outside local convention. It was basically a pop-up market. It was literally, the sun was hitting my face directly the whole time. A lot of these events, by the way, they're character builders. Not all of them are going to be amazing, massive New York Comic-Con stuff. Most of them are dingy little warehouses in the corner with no tablecloth, so you're just there with the domino table basically and the plastic folding chair like it. But that's the thing, it's a part of the process, you know, and I love the process. I'm not against having to learn, having to grow, having to experience the bad things, because I want to take it all as a lesson, you know. And I think it's important to realize that the things that you want and the way that you imagine them aren't always going to be a perfect match. Most of the time, I expected these events would be these massive things and wherever, these convention centers. Oftentimes it was like hotels, casinos. Oftentimes it was literally just hanging out with people the whole day. Sometimes we didn't sell stuff. It was really hard. It's still hard to this day. It's not easy. But yeah, I mean, I was able to learn and grow from these experiences. So I don't see it as a failure, or I don't see it as a missed opportunity. I see everything as a lesson, you know, and I think that's a good way, a good attitude to keep in mind, and a good way to move forward is by always seeing the potential in everything, even if it's bad. Never see it that way, because it's about the way you think. It's about the mindset. It's about how can I make what I have better with whatever you're given, right? Which is already a lot. Where you have the whole world. If you're watching this video, you have the entire world history at the palm of your hand. You could literally teach yourself anything you want and become anything you want. That's the luxury of being in the United States or in anywhere where you have technological advancements. And, you know, I'm always grateful, because God always provides everything I've ever needed. And my family and friends have always been helpful. But I think it's important to always take advantage is the wrong phrase, but to use the opportunities that are presented in front of you, right? Don't think less of it. Don't think that, oh, this is bad, why would I waste my time with this? The alternative was you're gonna do nothing, you know? So might as well hit the pavement, try something. Even if it doesn't work out, it's still something good. And you gotta move like that everywhere. And in every step that you take in life, you have to understand that everything that happens for a reason. So I remember vividly, you know, going through these character builders, no sales, no nothing, no book signings, but I was at least befriending other salespeople, other vendors at the conventions. So I was not only networking, they would tell me about other conventions and other events that they were going to go to, and that's perfect. That gave me an opportunity to follow up with them, to befriend them, and eventually they would assist me in finding other spots. Matter of fact, this year I was not able to go to 2 of the biggest ones that are here locally. I'm based in Miami, right? So born and raised, but I didn't know what the comic scene was like. 2 of the biggest ones that I've seen so far are primarily the Florida SuperCon. That was a non-negotiable. I've seen Otaku Fest is massive. The anime convention scene is enormous here in Miami, here in Florida especially. Oh, and I guess in Orlando as well. It's a little further than the Miami area, a couple hours out. Is MegaCon. MegaCon is pretty massive, and it always has like top billed artists and top names in the industry, like McFarlane and Liefeld and stuff like that. Kirkman, But I think it's better to fixate first on what we have in front of us. That's the thing. It's like, use what you've been given to the best of your ability and tackle the problems that's right in front of you. Bring solutions with what you've been given to the things that are in front of you. Do what you can with what you have at the time that you're able to do it. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be amazing. You don't have to be an incredible, punctual, perfect everything. No, we're human. We're gonna have flaws. We're gonna fail. We're gonna stumble. We're gonna, time and time again, we're not gonna realize that things happen. But it's always good to learn from them. These conventions have been amazing. I'm always able to find like-minded individuals, other artists in the industry, other people trying to make something happen, people that flew in from Texas and stuff just to do the same little itty-bitty convention I'm doing too. And it's inspiring. These people are literally working their butt offs, making the product, but not only that, now they're going out to the comic shops like I am, distributing it yourself, printing it yourself, selling it yourself, and you have to buy the tables, buy the equipment, buy the books, buy everything all the time, and you have to promote it. It's a whole lot of work. It's not easy, but I think that it's worthwhile to at least give it your all, even if it doesn't work out the way you think it will. You will always gain something from it, and these conventions have been literally some of the best parts of my life. I've been able to meet people who have told me that I'm their inspiration, that I'm their hero, that I'm better than having met any other Marvel comic or DC comic guy, that they were glad they met me instead. That's all I need right there. That's amazing. Seeing the smiles on these young kids' faces as well, their eyes light up when I show them a cool image of a cartoon character fighting a monster. They're like, whoa. You see the wonder in their eyes. You see the imagination spark. You see them trying to like figure out, whoa, how do I read this? What is this? Why is this so cool? Why is it moving in my mind? Like it's animated and it's cool and it's fun and it's colorful. I see a bunch of young kids who also want to be artists, like little tiny kids, with their parents, and their parents are always like, oh, look, you can do it too. Look, he's able to do it. That means you could do it. Just keep trying. And I'm always able to provide motivation and help for them and guidance for them through these kinds of videos. I always redirect them to like the backs of the books that always has the sketches and the process works and the thumbnails. At the end of the day, all it really takes to be yourself is to do the work with the thing that you have in mind. Set out a simple goal and then just focus on that, because without that, where else are you going to go? You're going to wander off everywhere else. Set a simple, easy goal, just one, and go into that direction. Just one thing, and just focus and put all your effort into it. Invest your money into it. Invest your time. Invest yourself. That's what you have to do. You have to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. You have to work harder on the dream so that it becomes a reality. That's always what I've been promoting and preaching in everything that I do. And I think it's good to try to keep that hope alive, because nowadays with AI and all this garbage, it's going to be way more difficult to crank out as much content. But what's going to be timeless and what's going to be invaluable is the amount of time it takes you to do it. Because a robot could crank out 1,000 images a second. That doesn't matter. You're not a robot. You're a human being with emotions and experiences, with trauma, with triumphs, with failures, with everything, success, all of it. Robots can't do that. That's the whole point. Man made robots. We made AI, but God made man. And that is the authority I answer to. I think Jesus is the best historical person, figure, leader, character, all of it. He was a real man, but the legacy he left behind is amazing. If you study ancient history, ancient theology, like the Greek gods, the Roman gods, all of them. I've studied Hinduism, I've studied Islamic, theology. I've studied Christianity, Catholicism, and all the branches, and of course, all the Norse gods as well. And I've realized that all of them have a similar theme, a similar thing and solution. It's just storytelling. It's just these interesting characters telling stories and being a part of a story. But the beautiful part of it is that the Bible is real. The evidence for it is insane. So if I'm able to just, with a couple, pretty colored images, comic book pages, if I'm able to inspire a kid to want to go research what the Greek gods are and what the Nordic gods are, and hey, who is this God guy? What is a God? What does it mean to be Jesus? What does it mean to follow him? To be like him, to want to be him, what does it mean to bear your cross? Stuff like that's amazing. And that's really the goal in life, is to just inspire the next generation. I remember always wanting to be an animator and a comic artist, and all I had to do was pray. And here I am. It's all worked out. I wanted to record these early sessions of me being frustrated, being angry, looking sometimes not as nice, sometimes looking disheveled and with a beard and everything. I want you guys to see it's real. I'm a real human being, and so are you. You don't have to be fake for social media. You don't have to be anything else or anyone else. You can just be yourself, and that is enough. As long as you're working towards a goal that helps others, as long as you're following a dream that helps God, that's all that matters. And I think it's important that we tell stories, because that is the only thing we have. The same way as a dog barks, as a bird sings, humans speak and communicate through stories. We are a species of storytellers. All of the things that we do, every sentence, every song, everything we do is stories. The way we write language, all of it. And I think that's why God wrote his parables. That's why he spoke in parables. Jesus never wrote anything down. The people around him wrote the things that he would say. His life became a story, but he was real. And the things that he would teach were told through stories. It was all lessons, it was all poetry. And I know people don't see the value in comics, especially now with AI being at its peak. I think timeless truth and a strong foundation in moral right and wrong will never go out of style. That's why Superman is still one of the most popular characters in Batman to this day, because they stand for something. They stand for hope. They stand for a symbol against the odds, a symbol for truth and justice in the American way, in the way that God intends. Because ultimately, I think it's important. And none of the things I've managed to do thus far, and I know it's not much, but it means the whole world to me. And it's the things that I would dream about as a kid, right? Going to these events, helping these people, inspiring them, drawing things for them, making them smile. That to me is priceless. And no amount of money could ever replace that. No amount of financial anything could ever replace the beauty of that. That's more fulfilling than anything else. I wanted to capture these early scenes, these early moments with me while I build the journey, while I build the company and I'm on the journey of making it. Because I know where I'm headed. I know what God has in store for me. And even if I fail, it would have been worth it as long as it's his will. I think it's amazing to be able to do all of these things and to keep providing art for everyone. But yeah, go take a risk. Go ahead and make the things you wanted to make. Try different things, meet people, go to conventions, buy some comics, read some comics. You never know what the author may have intended. It may have been a lot deeper and a lot more of a long conversation than just some superheroes, right? So, yeah, that's why Junket is a story about a guy who doesn't have superpowers. It's about a guy who quits his job and he goes into a life of action and adventure. Junket means a whole lot more to a lot of people, and I see that it resonates with people because it's a story about the everyman. It's about every person going through the struggles and frustrations of life and wanting to not escape, but find their fulfillment. They want to be able to be a force of good. They want to be a hero. And that's really all it is about. They go off into this magical forest, enchanted world, and it's timeless adventures. They go time traveling, they fight monsters, demons, and everything. They stop the end of the world, all that stuff. They're going up against the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse with no superpowers. That's pretty impressive, and that's pretty awesome. So, yeah, I hope that my story is able to be kind of a little bit of a inspiration in some way, shape, or form. Here I am, a young Walt Disney in his room, in his mom's room. My desk is literally a drawer, a cabinet that we cut out the middle drawers, and I just sit there and use that as a desk. I'm not even joking. My screen, my drawing tablet I didn't buy it. My school shut down, everything crumbled, and this is just one of the things that they gave us when the school was closing. I have been taking full advantage of the opportunities that are in front of me, and that is what everyone should do. They should be advantageous, optimistic, hopeful, awe-inspiring, and they should always seize the day as best as they can. So, yeah. Thank you guys for coming along with me on this journey. Here I am, young Steve Jobs in his parents' garage, young Walt Disney, homeless in his art studio, a young Jeff Bezos using a door as a desk, with a spray-painted Amazon.com on the wall. This is my little humble beginnings, and I don't want to be a billionaire. I don't care about that. I want to tell good stories, and I want to be someone who resonates with the youth, who resonates with my people, who resonates with the people of God. And I think it's important to always strive towards something bigger than yourself, because if you only have yourself at the top, you have no foundation to stand on. You have nothing to stand on, because people come and go, things happen. But believing in truth, believing in timeless wisdom, believing in hope, and believing in God, and love, that is the only sturdy foundation that we could build upon. So, God bless you guys. It means the world to me that you're here with me on this journey. I'm going to show you guys more of the comics, more of the progress art as I go along. All the pencils are done for the book. I'll show you actually how I literally make them. So I'll make a full video about process. So yeah, thank you guys so much. God bless.